Dedicated to the great outdoors, it's Southern Woods and Waters with Hugh McNaughton. Southern Woods and Waters is brought to you by Gander Mountain, Greenform Construction, the Burns Insurance Group, Cunningham Buick GMC, Nashville Marine, America's Motorsports. And now, here's Hugh.
All right, welcome everyone to this Thursday night's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. And by the way, happy 2016. I tell you what, we're looking forward to a great year in the outdoors. I tell you what, it's going to start off with a big bang. This show tonight has one of my special friends in the whole wide world, one that I've known for. Most of you weren't alive back when I knew this guy. And that's the truth. And that's Joey Monteleone. Let's widen out and introduce Joey Monteleone. Joey, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's great about Joey is Joey's always my first guest of the year because he represents another great event that's going on right here in Nashville. Started today.
Yes.
And that's the Nashville Boat Show.
The Progressive Insurance Nashville Boat and Sports Show. And boy, it's just loaded again this year. And we've got a lot of really cool events. But, you know, for me, it's the same every year. And again, if you can't be out there doing it, and with the weather we've had, you can be out there doing it. But, you know, it does get dark, so it does give you a chance to come in and catch your breath.
That's right.
And see what's new for 2016.
And you know what, Joey, what it gives for you and I, because we've been doing this a long time. What it gives for you and I is we might not be interested in just the hottest and the greatest boats, but we get to see friends that we hadn't seen in a little while.
I always say same faces, different places.
That's it.
And sometimes it may be just that once a year, and you travel and I do, and sometimes it's just that once that you get to see those people.
To see them, that's right.
And you know, I guess for me, one of the things that I found in the outdoors is very rarely do you find somebody with a hunting or fishing license that isn't a top-notch quality person.
That's exactly right. One that you wouldn't mind taking home with you and sharing a meal with.
Or being your next door neighbor.
Being your next door neighbor. You're exactly right. I agree with you 100%. I love our hunters and fishermen in this state.
You know, and I think that's the other thing is that as hunters and fishermen, first of all, we're very inventive. If there's not something that, you know, the way we want it, we'll figure out a way to get it there. And, you know, as far as like what we're catching crappie on or where we're seeing our bucks and stuff like that, we've got some of our secrets, but quite honestly, we want to share. And that's the unique part. It's what I like about what you're doing here is that we're here to kind of educate, amuse, and inform and entertain all at the same time.
All at the same time. I got to tell you something that happened to me this week. We were talking, and I'm glad Joey brought it up. Joey brought up, you know, friends. We've got things that we come up with. Don Sanders is a real good friend of mine. Really top-notch guy. Great fisherman in his own right. But he also loves to hunt. He put on Facebook the other day, he's got a new thing. He took a rear view mirror off of something and attached it to his stand to where now he says, I don't have to do anything but just look down. He sees what's behind him.
It's stuff like that. I hang a feather out of my stand in a piece of fishing line, and I tell people when the wind direction changes.
It changes.
Yeah. I either know what it is, or I might get down out of that stand and go to my other stand.
But what do you think about your redneck buddies that come up with?
As long as they're not taking the rear view mirror off of my car, I don't care what they do.
As long as it's not in the parking lot, I'm missing the rear view mirror. I'm fine.
That's right. And again, it's like we find a better way to do things all the time.
We do. And now he did it with a tie wrap. He tie wrapped a couple of tie wraps. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Don Sanders did it, and he knows he did it. So great idea.
Masking tape sales are going straight through the roof.
I'm telling you, buddy. We are going to talk to you tonight about the Progressive Insurance, the Nashville Boat and Sports Show. And my Lord, y'all have got the boats out there. That's been going on for a week now. People loading and unloading and everything and setting up. And
what you see when you walk into the boat show is nothing like what happens behind the scenes.
No.
That move in and move out, if you did a time-lapse camera of that, you'd just shake your head. They've got the Queen ship, they call it, from Drake's Creek.
Yes.
If I bought that thing, I'd have to have a mailbox because I'm living on it.
I'm living there.
And, you know, everything from kayaks to cabin cruisers. And, again, you can see on my shirt, I'm part of the Jackson Kayak Fishing Team.
Kayak.
And that kayaking opens up a whole new world. But that's the unique thing about boating in the outdoors. There's really something for everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, I always tell people that's why there's chocolate and vanilla ice cream.
That's right.
Everybody likes something different. Nothing
right.
wrong with that. It's just if you can get outside and experience that. And I think, you know, I'm a little older than you, but I think when it really,
Not much.
yeah, when it comes down to that, we just want people to find what we found in the outdoors. That's the fun part. When you see that kid catch his first fish, or you see some kid sitting in a tree stand and you're watching the woods wake up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it gets any better than
It
that.
doesn't. And I don't know how you can't believe that there's an almighty being either, that God had a hand in it, because man couldn't make anything that pretty.
No, well, I mean, if you watch the sunrise over the water or the sunset over the forest fields, or if I always say it was like God was painting the forest floor in the fall. You see all those colors down there, and you think, I mean,
I know
it's just nice to be out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to knock something down if I can, or set the hook on a few.
Give 'em a dirt nap.
Yeah, or catch a few of those big fish.
That's right.
And I'll be Tennessee, and you kind of cut them loose.
Yeah.
But you're nonetheless for the experience. I mean, what we found in the outdoors, I guess it changes your life.
It does. Great thing, kayaks are making a huge impact right now.
Well, you know, you can
And
look.
let me say this: I follow you all the time, Joey, on Facebook, just because we're friends, and I like to hear what you have to say. But you're always in a kayak, except for 2 times this year I caught you in an aluminum boat.
That does happen. It does happen.
I want you to know, I did catch you when you went to the aluminum boat, but kayaks have made a huge impact on the fishing industry right now.
You can go into skinny water.
Yep.
You can get a kayak. I mean, when we talk about kayaks, because we love to fish, there's whitewater kayaks.
Oh, yeah.
So there's exploration kayaks where you can just, if you just want to paddle. For me personally, I want to fish and I want to stand up.
Yep.
So I'm looking for something that's extremely stable and paddles pretty well.
And handle fat boys.
And the paddle, us fat older guys, we got to stick together.
Right.
But the paddles,
Right.
even the paddles, I mean, there's such a wide variety of paddles, and they make them so much lighter now than what they used to be. And if you remember the old aluminum canoes,
Yo, man.
think about those old Grumman were aluminum canoes that they're heavy. I mean, they were made heavy so they would last. But these kayaks, I mean, we're just out there in a bunch of plastic boats having a wonderful time.
Great thing. I see women, kids, men, old, young, medium age. Everybody's having a great time. Boat ramps will be just parked cars out there beside, and there'll be 12 kayaks stretched out on the bank.
And you know, when you look at a kayak, I think the unique thing about that is if you want to go electronic, you can load one up
do it.
just like you do a bass boat.
Yes.
They're
You can trick it out.
You can, if you want to do
You
that.
do that, pimp my kayak.
Right, and you know the funny part for me, somebody will say, "Well, what did you do to your kayak?" I said, "I got the plastic off and I went fishing." I don't,
that's
you know,
it.
I put a few little logos on the side, grab my paddle. I'm more concerned about what I've got in my tackle box, and I minimize that. I mean, the more you have up here, the less you have to have right here. Because I mean, realistically, you got 2-3 colors of crankbaits that you're going to use.
That's right.
Spinner baits, you're going to have a couple of configurations, and if people ask me, "Are the fish on a jig bite?" I say, "You're asking the wrong person," because the first thing I do is pick up a jig, and let me tell you something, brother. If they breathe on that, they're coming to the boat.
Yeah, they don't have hands, do they?
That's right.
They don't have hands. But now, all right, so the Nashville Boat Show's got kayaks, and let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, that is one great way. It is inexpensive, virtually inexpensive. You can put into it as much as you want to, but it's virtually can get you off that bank that you've been complaining about for years and years and years, get you off that bank and get you out there where you think those fish are, when actually you get out there, you throw towards the bank anyway. So I'm not going to say, I'm just throwing some truth to you, but it is a lot of fun. Kayaks, I love kayaks. We've been doing kayaking now for a couple of years, and the first one I ever did was a 14-mile trip, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and call the 911 because I'm going to need some help getting out of bed. I didn't feel it.
Nope.
That's
well,
fine.
If you're using your core when you're doing that, and the seminar that I'm doing a seminar at 7 o'clock on Saturday, and it's called Up the Creek with a Paddle.
Yeah.
So I'll show you how to paddle that boat where it's not going to destroy you. Actually, it's one of the best exercises you can possibly get. So and if you look at the show for an overall view, the TWRA is there, and they've got their educational trailer, which I love. I shot some pictures of it.
Yeah.
They've got the little archery range where you can shoot there. They're doing some. Frank Fisk from the Fisheries Department is going to be there, and he's going to be talking about Florida strain bass at my request, because everybody doesn't understand and think you can just stick those anywhere. It doesn't work like that.
I know it. I know it.
And Alan Harold's out there, and he's doing boating safety. And if you want to come out on Saturday, he's doing the boater education course, 3.5 hours. You're certified. good to go, and you even get a ticket to the
Alan
the
Harrell's
boat
my
show.
neighbor.
Is he?
Yeah, he's my neighbor.
There goes the neighborhood.
There goes the neighborhood. Hey, we got to take a quick break. We got to pay some bills around here, so we'll be right back with more of Southern Woods and Waters.